What's up guys? In today's video I'm going to show you how to build a Fiverr clone including messaging, custom offers and much more. Let's do it. So this is what we're going to be making today. So we'll set up the marketplace and make the front page first of all and make it look relatively nice. Then we'll set up the listing types and we make it so that you can also add add-ons as a freelancer. Then we'll make one or two listings and we'll then see how it looks on the buyer side. So when you browse and how you then hire these freelancers. We'll also go through the messaging and we'll go through the custom offers. So how that works. So if you message a freelancer, that freelancer can then also give the potential buyer an offer, a custom offer. We'll also look at the moderation platform so that as a marketplace owner, you can make sure that all deals are kept on the platform. We'll of course set up Stripe Connect and we'll set the commission to 10, actually maybe a little bit higher, maybe 15-20%, and we'll see how it works when we go through an actual payment. Let's do it. So we're jumping straight into it. I'm on Prometora.com and I'm about to create my new marketplace as you can see here, and I will then pick the service marketplace template because again we're creating a Fiverr clone here. So I pick that one and click next, and then I'll call this marketplace real hire and create marketplace. So now we have our template here as you can see. So this is the template and then we can adjust it the way we want to. So I'm just going to go ahead and actually delete some of these components that we don't need, right? So for now we'll just delete the FAQ and we'll leave that one there. We also delete this one, so I'll delete that one like this. And let's add a image up here. So I click on it and upload a new image. And so it is uploading and now I have my new image here. Okay, cool. So let me just add some opacity to that one. So maybe like this. And let's just make some small adjustments here. So the quick searches, those ones down here, let's leave them, but let's just have one that we adjust in the end there. And the search placeholder, let's do search trusted professionals. Maybe just like that. I think that looks pretty good. The color here, let's also just adjust that one. So let's pick another color that we use throughout the marketplace, maybe like a, I don't know, we'll pick a green one, so this one. Okay, so we also use that one up here in the navigation. So if I go to the header design here and then add that one there and save, okay, that is very green, but let's just leave it like this. We do not need to have the tagline there, so let's remove that one. And we could of course upload a logo here as well. Let's not do that now, but we do need to add some more pages there. So we don't need a link to the front page, but we'll add a link to the all listings page for sure, and actually maybe also just to the about. We will not make the about page though, but you would probably have that on a marketplace. Okay, so let's publish. I'll just delete this one as well and publish, and we check. Okay, so it looks like this. And this one is then a component that will pull in the recent listings or whatever listing I would like to have there. Okay, we leave it like this for now. So now let's go to the back office by clicking the store settings down here. So I click there and let's start by setting up Stripe Connect. So I click on the payments and I just scroll down here and click on Stripe Connect because that is what we're using for our marketplace payments. And you can see here that I can start with adding my publishable key, my publishable test key, and then the secret key, also the test secret key. So let's do that. So I'll go to my Stripe account and I'm in a sandbox environment, so in a test environment, and you can see I can then I can copy my publishable key here and my secret key. So let's do that. So I publish this one and also the secret key, and then I click save. Cool. So now we added our test keys. Great, and now let's go to the listing form. So the listing form is where you create your different listing types. So what you basically want to ask your sellers about when they're making their listings on your marketplace. So let's add a listing type that we call video form, and then we add these three options. So short form, YouTube long form, motion graphics. So we actually just edit the existing one here. So instead of calling it listing, we call this one video form like this and click done. And then we scroll down here to adding a custom field. So we add a custom field like this, and then we add the different types here. So we call it listing form what label video form, and maybe the placeholder is select video form like this. We make it a select field, so you have to pick basically whatever form it is, and then we add these three options. So, and we add a comma in between. So let's do like this. So short video form, YouTube long form, or motion graphics. Then you can see how it looks like over here, and let's make it a required field as well. So you can see here that this is now a required field. We do not need a calendar here. We do toggle on the variants so that you can add variants to your listing. So this is what we're asking about: title, description, price, then price options, if any, video form, and then of course images and a video, but that is optional. And actually one adjustment I just want to make is that we shouldn't call this listing type video form. That is the custom field, so that is a mistake by me. I would just call it video like this. So then you could have video, I don't know, transcriptions, text, or whatever, right? So the listing type is just video, and then you have different custom fields within the video listing type afterwards. Okay, and now just before we go and sign up on our own marketplace, let's just adjust the sign up form quickly. So we'll have a buyer and a seller sign up. We will not be asking for the phone number. So for the seller, we'll ask for the first name, last name, email, and business name. Optional, that is great. We will not be using the multi-step sign-up wizard, but we'll add a field, something like where did you hear about us, and maybe a, I don't know, a drop down, and let's say Facebook, Instagram, and word of mouth. Let's just use those three for now. And we actually even make this a required field. So as you can see, it's a required field because it's nice to know. Oh, and by the way, actually a seller is not called a seller on a Fiverr marketplace, I would say, right? They are called freelancers, aren't they? So let's change that to freelancers, and here freelancer. And buyer, I think they're still called buyers, or let's see what it looks like now. So now it's freelancers, buyer, freelancer. Yeah, let's leave it like that. And maybe also this one, create listing, can also buy book. Maybe let's adjust that one. So we go to the translations and just search for can also buy book. I think that was like that, right? And let's see, so like this. Here we go. So create listings can also, we just leave it as create listings, and then we save. So we're overriding that one, and now it looks like this. Freelancers, create listings. Good. So now let's go to the marketplace and basically sign up as a seller and then create 1 or 2 listings. So let's do it. So I start by signing up. And I'm now logged in as a seller, a very new seller. So then I go to the create listing area, and you can see that I can now start making my first listing. So let's do it. Okay, so I created the listing information here for the first one. So this is a freelancer with this information. So punchy, short-term edits for real, TikToks and shorts. And the price is 120. And then there's some other price options. So rush, 24-hour delivery, that is 40 on top. Extra revision, round 15. Style, caption and subtitles, that is 20 on top. So the video form is short form video, and there's one image here. So let's create that listing. And now I also just create one other listing. So this is the second listing information. So it's all about custom motion graphics and brand animations. So let's say the same freelancer can also do this. So he then writes something about himself, what he can do. So what are we saying here? I create polished motion graphics and brand animations, blah, blah, blah. Price is 250. And then there's some price options as well. So rush delivery, editable source, extra aspect, radio, and so on. We then chose video form motion graphics, and we added 2 images, and we also create that listing. So now we have 2 listings, and let's have a look at the all listings page now. Actually, before doing that, let's go to the back office here again, and then click on the all listings page to basically choose what we want to show on the all listings page. So we don't need to use the built-in category here. We are not using the compare a price, and add to cart, we're not using the cart. So let's scroll down here and see what we can toggle on down here. Cool. So video form, we want to show that one for sure. Maybe we actually basically want to have that one as the top one. So we toggle off the built-in category there, and the price range and the seller, let's leave them there. Cool, let's go and have a look. Okay, so it looks like this. So we have our two listings here, and then we have our filters here. And if I then go in on a listing, you can see, of course, the image, but you can also see the price, of course, but also the add-ons here, which is pretty cool. And then you can click on the buy now. The quantity, I think we should actually remove that one. So let's just remove that one. So I go here to the product detail page and I toggle off the show quantity selector. And actually, let's also just add the wish list button and maybe this beautiful star here. Okay, cool. So now it looks like this. So we have our add to wish list button up there, and we have the buy now, and now the quantity selector is not there. Great. So now let's try and go and sign up as a buyer and then basically make a purchase. Let's do it. So I sign up as a buyer. Okay, and let's say I would like to buy this Rush 24-hour delivery plus the styled captions and subtitles. But instead of just buying it now for $60, I want to try and negotiate the price actually. So I'm going to ask a question to the seller. And then I write, hey, can I buy the 24-hour package plus the style captions and subtitles for $50 USD? And we ask that question. And now from the seller side, so I'm logged in as the seller, you can see that they received the message. They also received an email, and you see the message here. And let's say that the seller accepts this. Yes, create a custom offer. So custom offer, and that is the 24-hour package plus the style captions and subtitles. So let's just call it that there so that they both know what is included, and we say $50 USD, and I send the offer. Cool, so the offer is sent. So the buyer received a message where it says, okay, there's a custom offer, and in the messaging area here as the buyer, so now I'm logged in as the buyer, you can see that I can now accept and pay this offer. So let's do it. So I go ahead and basically check out. And of course, now I'm just using a test environment again in Stripe to test that everything is working. So I'm just adding a test card. Cool, so order is confirmed. So everything went through and the buyer received an order confirmation, and the seller also received an email with exactly how much they will be earning. And by the way, you can see here that the platform fee is $5. That is because here on the payment area, we didn't actually change the commission rate down here. So right now it's 10%, which is $5. But if this had been 20%, of course, it would have been more that you as the marketplace owner would have been earning. Now, one other thing I just want to show is that you as the marketplace owner can also try and ensure that all transactions are happening on your marketplace. It's impossible to ensure 100% of all transactions happens on your marketplace, but there are ways to basically keep them on your marketplace. So basically you can flag words this way. So let's try and flag PayPal as a word here, right? And you can add whatever words and as many as you would like to. So if they are now writing in their messaging PayPal, they will see a banner saying, hey, you should keep the transaction on the marketplace. So now I'm back here at the messaging area, and let's try and write PayPal. Can I use PayPal instead? And we send that one. Now you can see that there's this heads up, please keep payments and communication on the marketplace. Okay, so he's getting a warning, but it still goes through though. But as the marketplace owner, you can then go here to the moderation area. You can first of all see the messaging that they're sending to each other, and you can see here that it's also flagging that this one was flagged as containing the word that you wanted to be flagged, which was PayPal, right? So then you could, if you see this happening many times, then you can go in and basically suspend the seller or the buyer. So that is one way to try and keep pretty much all transactions on your marketplace so that you will be earning a percentage, you'll be earning your commission on all transactions. That is it, guys. I hope that you found it interesting. And if you did, then please go ahead and test out Prometora for free. There is a free trial that you can go and test out. And it doesn't have to be a Fiverr clone. It could also be any other type of marketplace that you could build using Prometora. So please test it out. And if you like this video, give it a like. I really appreciate that. And you could also subscribe if you wanted to. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next one. See you. Bye bye. Ciao.